Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to another episode of Almost Rich, Almost Famous, Almost Daily.
So obviously we haven't been around in the last few days. Just to give you background why we started Almost Daily, obviously we have our podcast, Almost Rich, Almost Famous, which we love. We have so much fun with. And then when the coronavirus pandemic started, we couldn't do our podcast. So we wanted to do these videos, give people a positive light, give you a reason to laugh. So it was for us too. I mean, it was a great escape to come on here, get to see my best friend, just make fun of what we've been doing in the pandemic and quarantine. Obviously drinking a lot more, doing these weird video chats. And it was fun and we loved engaging with you, but the world is a lot bigger issues right now and it has not felt natural to come on here, be silly, be fun, because we're genuine. We want to be relatable. We want to be genuine. And that hasn't felt right. I haven't felt right. I haven't been positive. I haven't been my smiley self. But at the end of the day, I feel like we need to talk. That's the only way change is going to happen. So we wanted to come on here. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting. And I think if anyone knows us or listens to us, it's fairly obvious that we've both come from pretty white privileged backgrounds. And I think we all have our different stories. I mean, to make my long story short, my significant other is Black. And so I've kind of been fighting these battles internally for a really, really long time. And so my whole story with this started a while ago, but I've just recently started to kind of focus more energy since the last couple senseless killings. I have started to take note, I think as a lot of us have, and started trying to make change. You know, I think over the past several years, it's been small little pieces here and there, but I think both Bridget and I now are really engaged in the conversation and want to try to help. So Bridget and I had a conversation yesterday, and Bridget, if you want to kind of just discuss your situation and what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it's been for me, is a time to educate myself, a time to learn, because I have grown up in a community that's predominantly white. Yeah, I have a lot of Black friends, but we've never had the conversation that we're having right now. I've never been exposed to what they deal with on a daily basis. The way I've lived my life, I never realized that I was living a privileged life at all. So these past few days, and I said it to Betsy, I have learned more in the last 4 to 5 days than I have in my 29 years of life. I have listened to stories. I have talked to people. I have read articles. I have listened to podcasts, and my eyes have finally got out of all the rainbows and the bright colors and my little bubble. And I'm like, oh, wow, what can I do? And I still don't know. I'm still learning. And if it's posting on social media, if it's just supporting more Black businesses, if it's calling my colleagues out, if I hear them say a racist comment, calling my family out, all of those are very small changes, but I feel like that's what we need to do to ultimately get to that really big change. And I feel like the one thing that really resonated with me the most and like opened my eyes was, oh my gosh, I have been speaking white privilege and I had no idea. I'm not a racist at all, but things I'm saying and things I'm doing are. And this was the one. It said, here's an example of how white privilege sounds. You keep saying it's horrible that an innocent Black man was killed, but destroying property has to stop. Not that exact sentence, but I said something pretty similar. Try saying it's horrible that property is being destroyed, but killing innocent Black men has to stop. Everyone is prioritizing the wrong part. And I read that and I was like, that's me. I'm living a white privileged life and I need to open my eyes a little bit bigger, and I am each and every day. And now I feel comfortable talking about it here with our listeners and our viewers, and I feel like this needs to continue.
Yeah, I think obviously conversations have been heavy. A lot of conversations have been going on between friends, family, coworkers, everything. And I think like it seems so small to start like, okay, I'm going to talk with my parents. I'm going to have a conversation with my parents. I mean, like our parents grew up in a time, at least my parents grew up in a time, in a place where it was very divided. And so having those small conversations with your parents, for as small as they may seem, it's going to translate later. It might not sink in right this minute. Like it probably didn't for me initially, it probably didn't for
No.
you. But eventually, like it's going to create some change. And I think that Bridge, you and I both have, you know, a platform to speak on it. And I just like living the life that I live and knowing that I do have a voice, not using my voice, like isn't even an option at this point.
Exactly. And you have helped me so much. I mean, with your postings, you know, I might not retweet everything you post, but I'm reading it and I'm trying to apply it to my life. And when it resonates with me, I'm going to share it with someone else. And again, like we've been talking about, like these are small changes, but hopefully this moves us forward. And I hate seeing cities being destroyed and the rioting and the looting, but if that's what's going to open people's eyes to change, I mean, it has to happen. I mean, a long way to go, but
I think, yeah, long way to go. I feel like, you know, both you and I have talked about, like, obviously the looting is out of control and like we don't need to get into all of that, but that's not what we're here supporting. We're supporting change and we're speaking on, we have a platform, like we're going to use it. And I think like recognizing the situation and the privilege that we've been given our entire lives is the first step to creating change. And like I think that we both have been putting out good information. So keep following us personally, keep following us here. We can probably do a better job of posting on almostrich_almostfamous. But we'll be posting things like places to donate, places to spend time, articles to read if you have kids to talk about racism, articles to talk to your parents, things that you can and should be saying, things you should be doing. So keep following us. We will keep the conversation going. And here's to change. Cheers.